making your backgrounds actually look aesthetic. I've been in the dropshipping space for almost 2 years now, and I've done tons of research on everything you need in order to make the perfect video. The main three are filming, editing, and backgrounds. And today we're gonna focus on backgrounds, and I'm gonna go in depth in how I exactly put everything together for this background, and how this background generated me millions of views, and how you can implement some of what I'm going to talk about into your own videos and make some banger ass content. So let's get straight into it. First thing we should talk about is the lighting. Now everything in this video is according to your niche or whatever product you are filming for. This video is mainly for inside showcase products, but I'm also going to talk about outdoor products as well and how you can optimize that. Everybody should have two big box lights that are facing 45 degrees towards your background and your product. You want to make sure they are not too close but not too far, because having too much light kind of washes out the colors in your videos. But if you have it too far back, it's going to be dull and you're not going to really see much, you know? Okay, I just covered my windows just so you could see how these box lights work. So the ones that I have 4 different color settings. To be honest, these aren't the best. I recommend you get better ones that offer more variations of light. So we want to have it on a neutral color. We don't want it to be a dull color or too warm or too cold. We just want it plain white. So this is what we get from just the 2 box lights. And a lot of times you only are going to be needing the 2 box lights, but depending on your product, or if you just want to optimize it to be even better, you should implement even more stuff. Now what's even better than box lights is natural lighting. If you have an area in your house somewhere that you have perfectly natural lighting all around that isn't creating any shadows, then that is definitely better than box lights. But for people like me that don't have that luxury, that don't have the perfect area in your house with natural lighting coming in, this is the next best thing. And for products that are outside, that need to be filmed outside, the best days to film according to lighting is when it's very cloudy, because that will not create any more shadows and it's still giving you that natural light. It's like with the box lights, how you have the light bulb and then you have that sheet, that layer that's protecting it, not making it super bright but also not making it too dark. So box lights are basically like a replication of the sun being blocked by clouds, because it creates the same effect. But the big thing with box lights, with any of your lighting, is shadows. Having shadows in your videos just makes it look so much more unappealing to the viewer, and it makes your content look a lot worse. So the first step to your backgrounds in your videos, you definitely need to fix shadows. Shadows will absolutely ruin your videos. Now for my background that I have, I'm currently filming for these luxury looking watches. So the lighting I need is a little different compared to every other product out there, mainly just because of this overhead light. The only reason I need this is because when I turn it on, it gives that effect when you move it up and down of the light glare kind of going across it, and that makes it look a lot better. So if you are running a product that has some glassy feature to it, you probably don't want to use it unless it's watches, because it will reflect the box lights, it will reflect that light. If you have windows nearby, it's going to reflect that light. The next important thing for your background is your walls. Now I don't have anywhere in my room or my house that kind of gives off that luxury look. No part of my house looks that modern and aesthetic. So I just bought myself these 2 foot by 2 foot walls, and what I bought comes with other colors as well. Other table types, like all different kinds of wood and another kind of marble. But as I tested for this product, this is just what worked best. Obviously, if you're filming for, like, say a goth niche product, you are not going to want so much white in it. If you're filming for a goth product, you probably want a black background. You want all the lighting to make it look like dark and mysterious. So that's another big thing when making your background. You have to do a lot of niche research and understand your product and your target viewer. The big thing is just making it make sense. If it doesn't make sense, then you're not going to get views. The last part of lighting for my background exactly is this huge LED bar that is behind all my props. It came with this little LED remote, and if I turn it on, this is what it looks like. And it comes with different colors and everything. But with my product, I keep it on that golden white kind of vibe. The main reason I bought that is because I still had a lot of shadows behind my big props, and even my box lights couldn't fix that. So I had to figure out something to put in the background. There are a lot of people that add a LED in like a swiggly fashion. I'll put up a picture on the screen if you don't know what I'm talking about, but that wouldn't work the best with my product exactly. So I bought the big bar light. If you're just starting out, which I expect most of you to be because it's kind of like a beginner friendly video, I don't recommend getting that big bar light. Maybe a smaller one if you can find one, but that bar light was way too expensive for any beginner just starting out to buy. Unless you've already made some money with organic, or you've made a good amount of money with the product product that you are filming for right now and you want to just optimize it in the best way possible, then I wouldn't recommend getting this bar light. And another thing that you can do is instead of getting a white background, again, depending on your product, you can get that black spiky background. I'll put it on the screen again if you don't know what I'm talking about, but that will get rid of all the shadows. And that's the main reason for any backlight, to just get rid of shadows. What comes second is if your background is just too simple and boring and you need to add something to make it look a little more flashy. So if you've implemented everything that I've talked about so far, this is what your background should look like. What's especially missing now is just props, especially covering up the bar light, because it's huge and wouldn't look very appealing if you just had that. And like I said, and I'm going to say a billion times in this video, your background and everything in your video is very product dependent. But the good thing about showcase products is that basically every single showcase product requires some sort of plant in it. Just adding 1 or 2 plants makes it look so much more aesthetic and can take your videos from looking like shit to someone who somewhat knows what he's doing. This exact plant basically everybody has, so if you want to be a little different, and also depending on your product size, you can get a bigger plant or you can get tinier plants. After adding some plants, this is what you should have. And don't worry too much if the camera picks up on the little LED circles back there. Since it's kind of high up, your camera will not pick it up that much because you're probably going to be filming a little lower. And if not, if you do bring it up, it really doesn't look that bad anyway. Don't worry too much about that. After you added the plants, now you should personalize it a little bit depending on your products. For me, I'm going to be adding this watch in the background with this case because I'm selling watch products. So I want to remind the viewer what I'm actually selling, because if I do a hook where I'm not showing the product right away, then they are going to be confused about what I'm actually selling and they might get turned off by it and just scroll right away. And obviously we want them to stay on the video so that they can actually see the product and give us more attention and give us more views. So depending on your niche, your product, you should have a bunch of niche down props all up in the background, maybe on the walls, on the table, whatever you can find really. I'll give a few examples for a few different niches to show you exactly what I mean. And like I said, it shouldn't be just one, it should be a little more than one. So I can even add more cases in the background just to show that I'm selling watches and not some silly shit in the background. But for this example, I'm just going to use one watch just to generalize this, because I know a lot of you probably aren't going to be selling this exact product because it's saturated and it's already branded, so you can't even steal it if you wanted to. And another thing I'm going to be adding is this statue, because it just looks super aesthetic and it looks super rich vibe, super old money. So yeah, let's add it in real quick. So this is what we get after adding in all the props. This is what it would look like from a vertical point of view, which all your videos are going to be in. If you want to take it to the next level and make your background look even better, there's another thing you can do, which I personally can't do, but maybe you can make your backgrounds look even better than mine. And what that is getting rid of the wall behind it and actually adding some depth into the background of your video. Then you wouldn't even need the backlight, or maybe you can have it in your wall in the background or whatever, and you wouldn't need as many props as well. You can have it all in the far background and you won't need to buy as much, and it looks a lot better adding some depth. The only way I can add depth in my videos is if I do it outside, because no place in my house is really that aesthetic where I can have it all in the background. Like if I'm filming for these watches and say I just put it here, I would have the depth in the background, but it doesn't fit with my niche or the general vibe of my product, so it just wouldn't make any sense. To give another example, let's say you're running a car product, the best possible background would probably be if you went to like a dealership or a car show and there was a bunch of super nice aesthetic looking cars in the background. I don't know much about cars, but like Ferraris, Porsches, Lambos, all of that in the background. Then that would definitely catch the viewer's eye since they are interested in that. And it would look a ton better than just being inside in your room having like what I have, like a little background and just adding in some toy cars or some shit like that, you know? Like my background's definitely a step higher than that, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. So again, I'll give some examples of a depth background if you don't know what I'm talking about. Another thing that not many people even take into account or think of when filming for your products is what you're actually wearing. Most of the time you're filming like this and not a lot of your clothing is actually in view, but even just like having your sleeve in it can actually make a big difference. For my product, since I'm filming with a luxury product with a rich kind of vibe, I can't be wearing like sweats like this. So let me change really quick. Okay, here we go. This is a lot better. I have a nice little polo on. I have my watch. My viewers definitely gonna resonate with me a lot more now, just because I'm aiming for that kind of rich luxury, old money person, they're gonna resonate with me a lot more and they're gonna stay a lot longer, which is gonna make me more money. So it definitely matters. Even though I'm just gonna have literally my wrist in view, just a part of my sleeve and my watch, it's gonna be a lot better than just wearing a sweatshirt and a bracelet. No matter how little you think of it, it definitely plays a part. And that's another thing that you should be thinking about while making your videos. Even if I didn't mention it, you should take into account every little part of your video, everything that is in frame. If it is not going to help resonate with your viewer or make them stay any longer, you need to get rid of it or replace it with something better. I remember I used to be filming for this gym lamp, which I think I actually still have. Let me get it. Yeah, so I still have it actually. What this would do, I would just put it above and it would give you a lot better lighting for your physique. But a big problem of mine was that I had really no aesthetic place in my house to actually film for this product. The best place that I could find was my bathroom, except I had so much shit in the background that I just left there, and that definitely affected my views somehow. If I can find any of my old videos with this product, I'll put it on screen to show you what I mean. I think I filmed for this product almost a year ago now, but hopefully you see what I mean, how my background doesn't fit perfectly with what my viewer would expect and what would make sense to my viewer. Not only that, but you also have to visualize in the point of view of your viewer. What would spike their dopamine a little more, what would look a little more interesting to them. So knowing your viewer is definitely a big part of your background and figuring out everything that you need to get. Like I said, there's a lot of things with your background that are just general that you just need, but you should definitely try to niche it down as close as you can get and make it make sense. So I'd say that's the last big part, is just pulling all of what you learned together and making it make sense for the viewer, like I've said a billion times and you're sick of hearing it from me. Pulling the lighting, your props, your clothing, literally everything that is in frame of your video, pulling it all together, making it look aesthetic, making it look appealing to your viewer. That is everything that matters when thinking about your background. If you want to find the exact props, background that I'm using, or lights, I'm going to be putting everything into an Amazon list. I'll even add in a few more things that are probably better than my background. You can just cycle through it, see what you need, and hopefully that helps you out. I'm going to make another video on filming, editing, and really just making a video after this one, which will probably be posted within the next week or so. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe, like the video, and comment whatever else you want to see from me. All right, I need to stop talking. I'll see you guys in the next video.